Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
The American people now realize more fully the crimes that were committed against our Constitution.
Oh, good for you, Nancy. The American people now fully realize the crimes that were committed against our Constitution, and they were many. It's not just the perjury, which was testified to yesterday. And people just don't, because Muller is older. Muller, it was halting. Muller did not have his full brain wrapped around the obstruction, volume 2 of the report. He was much more animated and much more fluid on volume 1, the conspiracy to hack and all that stuff, because that's probably the part that concerned him as an ex-Marine, as a Vietnam vet, as a former FBI director for 12 years. We finally found out that Trump was lying. Robert Mueller was never interviewing for a third term as the FBI director. He was consulted by Donald Trump on what to look for in an FBI director. Who did he recommend? That's what that was. We heard that testimony yesterday. But here's what we did learn. We learned that the members of the Trump campaign were trying to enrich themselves with the Trump Tower Moscow. Flynn was trying to enrich himself with a deal in Turkey. Manafort was trying to get debt forgiveness, just like we always thought, from Oleg Deripaska, an oligarch in Russia. Trump was trying to make money from the Trump Tower Moscow. Everybody lied about this, including Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, Rick Gates, Michael Cohen, George Papadopoulos. Manafort encouraged everybody else to lie. Trump was dangling pardons. He was trying to fire Mueller the whole time. He was falsifying, the file on Mueller. He kept asking Jeff Sessions to unrecuse himself. He went outside the presidency and asked his former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, to call Sessions and ask him to unrecuse himself. It is not a witch hunt. It wasn't a hoax. Russia wanted to hack us. Russia did hack us multiple times. Polling data was also exchanged from the Trump campaign to the Russians. Russia wanted Trump to win the election. That was their preference. They did not want to see Hillary Clinton because they thought that she would be tough on Russia. Russia informed the campaign about their intentions to do this. Trump welcomed it. Trump, said he would love to have the dirt. Russia committed federal crimes. You had 26 Russians indicted by Mueller in order to help Trump, and the Trump campaign lied to cover up all of this. That is what we learned. Plus, add to this that he perjured himself when he did the written questions, which, by the way, he refused to answer anything on the obstruction. Trump only would answer questions about the Russian conspiracy. Mueller never said he had no evidence of a conspiracy, not even yesterday. What he said was he had insufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And even if he did get there, and the reason why he didn't have beyond a reasonable doubt was because everybody lied. Documents were destroyed. Encrypted apps were used, and they were deleted daily. Okay. And so even if he could get to beyond a reasonable doubt with all of that working against him, he still couldn't indict the president because of that stupid OLC memo, which for some reason holds a special place in Mueller's heart. So we found out, in addition to all that Donald Trump perjured himself in the questions about the conspiracy and asked other people to lie for him. That's where we're at. That's what we know. Now, you want to hear... This is going to blow your mind, I think. Scotty put this together today. You want to hear how Fox News, this platform for an alternative reality, alternative facts, they call it, how it comes out of Sean Hannity's mouth, or it comes out of a host on Fox News' mouth, and then it actually showed up in the hearing yesterday. Watch this. This is unbelievable.
Is it fair to say, Mr. Mueller, that you're friends with Jim Comey?
You and James Comey have been good friends, or were good friends for many years, correct?
Does the president have the authority under Article 2 to fire an FBI director?
Can't the president fire the FBI director at any time without reason under Article 1 of the Constitution?
Or even you?
Can't he also fire you as special counsel at any time without any reason?
Mr. Mueller, when did the counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign begin and why?
Maybe a better course of action is to figure out how the false accusation started.
Did he give you a reason why he fired James Comey? Yes or no, Mr. Mueller?
Did he mention the firing of James Comey in your discussion with him?
If you're a Republican, you're going to want to ask about bias.
There's a growing concern that political bias caused important facts to be omitted from your report in order to cast the president unfairly in a negative light.
Were you aware that Weissman was a devout Democrat who was at Hillary Clinton's victory party?
Andrew Weissman attended Hillary Clinton's election night party. Did you know that before or after he came onto the team?
Were you aware that Jeannie Ray, who worked for you, well, she worked for Hillary Clinton on the Clinton Foundation as her lawyer?
Are you aware that Ms. Jeannie Ray represented Hillary Clinton in litigation regarding personal emails originating from Clinton's time as Secretary of State?
Why did you select Aaron Zelby, who represented, Justin Cooper, the guy that helped set up and administer Clinton's email system?
Aaron Zelby, the guy sitting next to you, represented Justin Cooper, a Clinton aide who destroyed one of Clinton's mobile devices.
Is that the freakiest freaking thing you've ever seen? Now, keep in mind the subject matter that they were supposed to be educating themselves on, and that is the Russian interference, an attack on this nation by a foreign adversary, okay? An attack on this nation. They were supposed to be trying to pull the facts out about how to keep America safe at the very least. If they didn't want to go down the road that, Donald Trump Jr. said the campaign would love the dirt on Hillary Clinton, and that Trump praised Russia's release of the Democratic emails, and that the Trump campaign gave the Russians polling data, and in exchange they were trying to build a Trump Tower in Moscow and enrich themselves, and that there was a messaging strategy around the leaks of the hacked material through WikiLeaks. I mean, if they didn't want to go down that road, fine. Don't go down that road. But at least CYA on the fact that the Russians did attack our elections and that hundreds of millions of dollars were spent in rubles on Facebook based on that polling data to target people in 4 swing states where the president won by 11,000 votes out of millions cast. I mean, seriously, dude, they are shameless. They are utterly and completely shameless. This is the sickest I've ever seen the Republican Party. And trust me, they have been racist. They have been suppressionists when it comes to voting. They put a million obstacles in your way. The polls to the souls on Sunday offends them because they know that that's how black churches organize. It's like at this point, they would rather see Russians voting for president than they would black Americans voting for president or Hispanic Americans voting for president. This is why they wanted a citizenship question on the census to undercount Hispanic voters. They are so un-American. They are so unethical. They are completely willing to destroy this little experiment that we have going on in this country called democracy, representative democracy, a representative republic, if that suits you. I mean, they just are willing to destroy the village in order to make it safe for Republicans forever. This is the sickest I've ever seen them, and I've lived through some really bad stuff, and you have too. I mean, W tanked the economy and took us to war against an unarmed nation. I thought that was the bottom. There's no bottom. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.